So on the last video, we did an overview of how the grades work within the Summit's platform and system. And we talked about the different categories of that are get graded and why one is more important than the other, and the philosophy behind why Summit does things that way. In doing so, we mentioned cognitive skills. In my first place series about the Summit platform, I described in more detail what they are and the philosophy behind them. But here I just want to remind you guys there are 36 of these skills organized in 7 categories. Now, each of these skills represent transferable, important, essential life skills that can be useful outside of the classroom. The Stanford Center for Assessment in Learning and Equity, which spells SCALE, was the group that came up with this rubric. So it's kind of like a joke that the SCALE came up with the rubric. But this is a culmination of 50 years of educational research to identify key things that students need to take with them from schooling into their real lives. Now, each of the sub dimensions here in the category actually get graded on a scale that goes from 0 to 8. So to use an example, let's look at making inferences. So the making inference dimension is part of the domain of analysis and synthesis. As you can see, it has 8 levels, and that's true for every single dimension. Okay. Now the 8 levels represent the fact that students need to be growing as they progress through schooling. So a middle schooler in 6th grade might have to score a 2.5 to be about average. And then 7th grader might have to be at a 3.5, and then an 8th grader at a 4.5, and so forth into 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, so that by the time they exit high school, they have that level of mastery of these SCOG skills. Now, there are 36 of these skills, but the students will experience them multiple times across the years and across the subjects, and even within 1 year across different projects, giving them multiple opportunities to improve as time goes by. Now, the way it actually works is that the best score a student receives in one given year for one given subject is the one that sticks. Now, it's possible that they will see the same COG skill in a different subject, but if that happens, that doesn't affect the grade of another subject. So each subject is graded in isolation from the others. And also what happens in a previous year will also not affect their grades. So the best performance on a COG skill that they get in that year is the score that sticks. Then all the COG skills are averaged together, and the students will get an average score based on all the COG skills they experienced that year. I'm going to be talking more about this on the next video when I'm showing you how to find information about COG skill scores within the platform. But I do want to show you that it is scale that goes from 0 to 8. The way to interpret it is to basically look at a level and see what is different from one to the other. So here in making inferences, if you look at a level of 2, you can see that you have to make an inference based on an evidence and use one example to actually back up that inference. But when you read it at 3, it says making relevant inferences. So now it's plural. And then it says make clear connections between 2 examples. So you have some new words here. You say inferences instead of inference, and you say clear connections in 2 examples. So that shows you that instead of one example, you need 2. And instead of one inference, you need 2. And then you need to make connections between them. So 2 inferences with 2 examples connected. So then by looking at the words which are different between each level, you see what a student needs to do to move from one level to the next. And teachers, of course, will go over this before starting a project, before doing a checkpoint, so that the students can understand what is expected of them in the project for them to move up on those cognitive skills. So that's the idea behind cognitive skills. And again, uh, you might not see all of them within one course and within 1 year, but you're going to see lots of them. And definitely across crossers and across the years, you end up seeing a lot of them many times. And remember, the best grade is the one that sticks, which is cool. Because if you do a project and do poorly, but a future project gives you another opportunity to do better on that, then you will get the best score. So the focus is on giving students feedback and opportunity to improve. And as long as they do, that best score is the one that takes. So that philosophy reflects again what we believe is right here in Summit, which is growth, and the focus is on these skills. All right, so throughout the year, you're going to get more experience with this. It's kind of like playing football. You get better at it by actually doing it. So I look forward to working with students in a classroom to help them understand how cognitive skills works. But this is the primary part where your grades come from. So it's very important to understand what they are. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video when I show you how to find information about them within the Summit platform.